Imagine a time when the landscape of ancient Egypt was marked by towering structures, not of stone, but of ambition. In the midst of a vast desert under the relentless Egyptian sun, one man dared to dream bigger, bolder, and higher than anyone before him. This man was Sneferu, a name that may not immediately come to mind when you think of the great pharaohs of Egypt. But make no mistake, his impact was monumental. Sneferu, who ruled Egypt from around 2613 to 2589 BCE, was the founder of the Fourth Dynasty, and is best known for one audacious achievement: building the first true pyramid. But who was Sneferu really? And how did he lay the groundwork for what would become the most iconic symbol of ancient Egypt? Sit tight, because we're about to embark on a journey back to the dawn of the Old Kingdom, to explore the life, the legacy, and the ingenuity of Pharaoh Sneferu. Now picture this: Egypt at the end of the Third Dynasty. The country was already rich with history, culture, and the beginnings of architectural grandeur. But the pyramids, as we know them, had not yet taken their final form. Enter Sneferu, a young and ambitious ruler who was determined to not only make his mark, but also to revolutionize the very concept of what a tomb could be. Sneferu was more than just a king. He was a visionary, an innovator, a man who looked at the massive structures his predecessors had built and thought, "We can do better." One of the most fascinating aspects of Sneferu's reign was his relentless pursuit of perfection in pyramid construction. In many ways, he was a pioneer of engineering and architecture. Unlike the step pyramids of earlier times, like the one built by Djoser at Saqqara, Sneferu envisioned a smooth-sided pyramid that would reach toward the heavens with a sense of grandeur and symmetry never before seen. This wasn't just about creating a burial site. It was about reaching for the divine, creating a stairway to the gods. Sneferu's first major attempt was the pyramid at Meidum. Originally conceived as a step pyramid, it was later transformed into a true pyramid by filling in the steps with layers of limestone casing. But this experiment had its flaws. The Meidum Pyramid, as it stands today, is partially collapsed, revealing a core that seems to rise awkwardly from a mound of rubble. Yet, instead of seeing this as a failure, Sneferu saw it as a lesson, a stepping stone on the path to perfection. Undeterred, Sneferu moved on to his next project, the bent pyramid at Dashur. Now, this pyramid is truly unique in the annals of Egyptian architecture. As you might have guessed from its name, the pyramid has an unusual shape, with its lower portion rising at a steep 54-degree angle, before abruptly transitioning to a shallower 43-degree angle near the top. Why this sudden change? Some suggest it was due to structural concerns, as cracks began to appear during construction. Others believe it was a deliberate choice, a cautious approach to ensure stability. Whatever the reason, the bent pyramid remains a testament to Sneferu's adaptability, his willingness to learn, to adjust, and to keep pushing forward. But Sneferu wasn't done yet. No. He had one more pyramid to build, the Red Pyramid, also at Dashur. This was Sneferu's crowning achievement, the culmination of all the lessons learned from his previous endeavors. The Red Pyramid, named for the reddish hue of its limestone blocks, was the first successful attempt at creating a true, smooth-sided pyramid. Standing at about 105 meters, it may not be as famous as the Great Pyramid of Giza, but it was the prototype, the model upon which later pyramids would be built. It marked a turning point, not only in Sneferu's reign, but in the entire history of Egyptian architecture. Here, finally, was the pyramid Sneferu had envisioned, perfect in its form, symmetrical in its design, a true marvel of engineering. So, what drove Sneferu to such heights of ambition? Was it merely the desire for a grand tomb? Perhaps, but there's more to it. Sneferu's pyramids were not just monuments to his reign. They were symbols of divine kingship, of Egypt's power and stability, of a civilization reaching new heights, both literally and metaphorically. Sneferu was creating a legacy, not just for himself, but for all of Egypt. and his vision would set the stage for his successors, like his son Khufu, who would go on to build the Great Pyramid of Giza, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Yet, Sneferu's reign was not just about pyramids. He was a ruler who understood the importance of a strong, centralized government, and he worked diligently to consolidate power, reforming administrative practices, and promoting trade and exploration. Under his rule, Egypt saw an expansion of its borders, increased contact with foreign lands, and a flourishing of arts and culture. He was a king who knew that the strength of a nation lay not only in its monuments, but in its people, its economy, its ability to interact with the world beyond its borders. To delve even deeper into Sneferu's reign, we must consider the innovations he introduced beyond architecture. For one, he was an early adopter of the corvée labor system, a form of tax in the form of labor that required subjects to work on state projects for a certain period each year. This system enabled Sneferu to muster a massive workforce, tens of thousands of laborers who cut, transported, and assembled the massive stone blocks for his pyramids. Unlike later, more brutal forced labor methods, this system allowed for a sense of duty and involvement in state affairs, fostering a national identity that was closely tied to monumental achievements. Sneferu was also a master of statecraft, understanding the significance of foreign relations. Under his rule, Egypt launched expeditions into the Sinai Peninsula to mine valuable turquoise and copper, essential materials for tools, jewelry, and trade. These expeditions weren't just about material gain. They were exercises in extending Egyptian influence, in asserting control over regions rich in resources, and in projecting power far beyond the Nile Valley. On the domestic front, Sneferu implemented significant administrative changes that strengthened the central government. He appointed loyal officials to key positions, standardized taxation, and organized the collection of resources across Egypt. These reforms ensured that the wealth of the nation was channeled efficiently, supporting his grand construction projects and bolstering Egypt's economy. Sneferu's governance laid a solid foundation that would benefit his successors for generations to come. And let's not forget Sneferu's contributions to Egyptian art and culture. During his reign, there was a noticeable shift toward more refined artistic expressions, seen in the statuary, jewelry, and relief carvings of the time. The craftsmanship became more detailed, more realistic, capturing not just the likeness of figures, but also their character, their essence. This period marked the beginning of what would become a distinct style of Egyptian art that flourished for centuries. A style that combined realism with symbolism, that depicted the pharaoh as both human and divine. Sneferu's ability to inspire loyalty and devotion among his people was another key factor in his success. He was often referred to as the Good King, a rare title that suggests a ruler loved by his subjects. Perhaps it was his ambitious vision, or his willingness to experiment and learn from mistakes, or his attention to the well-being of his people that earned him this reputation. Whatever the reason, it is clear that Sneferu was more than just a builder of pyramids. He was a builder of Egypt itself, a pharaoh who set a standard for what it meant to rule, to innovate, and to leave a lasting mark on history. As we look back on Sneferu's reign, we see a pharaoh who was more than just a builder. He was a strategist, a diplomat, and an innovator. His architectural feats were just one aspect of a broader vision for Egypt. A vision that blended practicality with divine inspiration. A vision that sought to elevate both himself and his people to new heights. Sneferu laid the foundation, quite literally, for the age of the pyramids. An age that would define Egypt for millennia. So, the next time you think of Egypt's great pyramids, remember Sneferu, the Good King as he was often called. Remember his relentless drive for perfection, his ability to learn from setbacks, and his unwavering vision of grandeur. It was Sneferu who turned the dream of a true pyramid into a reality, paving the way for the wonders that would follow. If you've enjoyed this exploration into the life of Sneferu, the founder of Egypt's 4th dynasty, and the father of the true pyramid, please give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to Historical Highway. for more deep dives into the fascinating figures of history.